Hello and welcome to Explicit Writing Instruction at the Sentence Level, brought to you by the Teacher Next Door. My name is Erica Colmadine. I am the Director of Education and Strategy for the Teacher Next Door, but if you are familiar with our TPT store, you know that that's not me in the picture. I am not the Teacher Next Door. That would be Jen Larson. She is our CEO. She is the person who has hand-created everything that you will see here today. She's got 20 plus years of experience in education, and she is an expert at teaching writing. So today's purpose of this training, one, I want to mention real quick, it's going to be a short training. We are not going to delve deep into getting into each of these individual units and the nitty gritty about how to teach it and when to teach what, but we are going to look at why we teach it and then the sequence that we use to teach the sentence skills and sentence units. So before we get into any of that, I want to talk about what in the world is explicit writing instruction. Now, if you are familiar with our TPT store, you know that we are known for our writing resources, our explicit writing resources that use a step-by-step approach. Because explicit writing instruction is just a structured approach that's research-based, where skills are taught progressively so that students can build those skills as they move into large writing projects. Now, we are solely focused on upper elementary, but we have heard from teachers all the way through high school who are using our resources because, quite frankly, with only 1/3 of our students writing at proficiency level by 8th grade, we know that our high school teachers also are in need of these resources because the students in their classes are writing even beneath grade 3. So if you are an upper elementary teacher, welcome. If you are a secondary teacher, welcome to you as well. When we talk about explicit writing instruction, we're focusing on modeling, scaffolding for kids, allowing kids practice, and then having them independently apply the skills that they just learned on their own, where there's some sort of assessment tied to that or writing project. Now, everything that I just said is nothing new. Like, this is not a new method. This is nothing that was just invented. This is what I actually like to consider old school teaching. If you started teaching within the last 25 years, you are well aware that Writer's Workshop entered our classrooms. Now, one thing I want to mention about Writer's Workshop is I don't believe that any teacher or researcher or college professor or whoever it may be entered a classroom with the intent to ill-equip our students with writing skills. I don't think that balanced reading was something that was ill-intended. I think that the people behind that had the best of intentions for students with the knowledge that they had at that time. Now, that said, we know that balanced reading didn't work. It doesn't work. It works for some kids, but it doesn't work for all of our kids. And our instruction should work for all of our students because otherwise it is not equitable. So along with balanced literacy came Writer's Workshop. And Writer's Workshop had a mini lesson, and you modeled or scaffolded or showed students an example of what you were going to do that day, and then you broke out into Writer's Workshop, right? There sometimes were different things to do and different tasks. There was a lot of peer-to-peer revision and peer-to-peer conferencing. There was sometimes small group. And again, it wasn't ill-intended, but the results that we saw from Writer's Workshop resulted in 1/3 of our kids being proficient writers, and the other 2/3 weren't. So we need something more than that. And quite honestly, the mini lesson is not enough, especially at the elementary level, especially the upper elementary level, where you have to build these skills at this time, or else you're going to wind up not being able to write an essay in high school or beyond, or an email when you're grown up, right? So we have to give kids more than just a mini lesson at this point in time. I'm not saying we need to lecture them for 45 minutes, but they need a structured step-by-step approach that takes longer than 5 minutes, where there is scaffolding, there's opportunities for practice, and then there's opportunities for independent application with feedback that helps kids build those skills, because then, and only then, will we build confident and skilled writers. So, like I mentioned before, you may have seen this in our TPT store. This is our complete paragraph bundle. This was the guy who started it all. This bundle has grown immensely over the last 5 years. I want to preface what I'm saying right now with this, though. Everything that you see here is available on TPT. Everything is available in print and digital. It is ready for instant download. There are tens of thousands of teachers who are currently using this around the globe in their classroom. That said, we are hyper aware that not everybody is in the market to purchase a bunch of stuff off of TPT. You are absolutely more than welcome to take what you see here, emulate it yourself, create the resources for your classroom, use it within your classroom, recreate it in a way that works best for your students. We will absolutely give you the entire structure, breakdown, planning for all of these resources, and you are welcome to use the resources that you have, create your own, or you also have ours available to you should you want to just click a button and have it done for you. But please do not think that I'm here to sell you any of these units. I am here to equip you with a way that's going to make a difference for your students with their writing skills, because we know how needed this is. Because let's be honest, I have not taught over the last almost 16, 17 years. I've never come across a reading or writing curriculum that has had everything that I've needed in it. Not ever once. I don't know if you have, and if you have, send it our way because I would love to see it. But we know that we have to supplement for teachers, and we're not here to just sell you this stuff. We are here to show you this is the way that our students are going to become confident writers, and here's the whole method of the way that you can do it. So I digress. This complete paragraph bundle that really teaches kids how to craft a paragraph, like step by step by step, from the top of the paragraph all the way down to the bottom of the paragraph. This eventually turned into this, because we heard from teachers who were using the paragraph bundle in their classroom that they also needed to write essays. And they wanted to use the same process that we were using within our paragraph writing within their 5-paragraph essays. So we heard teachers and we created that year-long essay bundle. It uses the exact same process for fictional narratives, personal narratives, opinion writing, and informational writing, so your expository, basically. The same process is used throughout. So you're not going from like 3rd grade learning how to write a paragraph to going to 4th grade and you're writing a 5-paragraph essay in a totally new way, and you're certainly not doing it through Writer's Workshop, because essays aren't really a product of Writer's Workshop. It fosters that creativity, but think about the writing that you do in your life. I don't know, most of us who aren't authors aren't writing fictional narratives every day. We're leaning more towards that opinion-based writing and that informational-based writing. So this is really building the skills up using the exact same instructional method that we use in the complete paragraph bundle. So let's take this down all the way to the studs. You will see this on our website. You will see this in the product descriptions. When we talk about writing at the sentence level, we compare it to building a house. If your essay is your house, you want it to have curb appeal. You want it to look nice. I don't know about you, but I love an HGTV show, and I want it to look more than basic, right? If you're going to sell a house for a lot of money, you want it to look beyond builder grade basic. But in order to do that, you have to use quality materials. You don't want to build something that's going to fall apart within 5 years, right? I'm speaking from experience. I have a connection to the construction world too. So, and with remodeling our own home and things like that, you want to use those quality materials. So if you use those quality materials in writing, you're talking about writing well-written sentences. You're talking about your mechanics. You're talking about your grammar. You're talking about moving from beyond simple sentences to compound sentences and complex sentences. You're talking about using things like appositives in your writing to give it a little bit more spice. Now, how do we do that? Because some kids in our classroom can't even write one sentence, let alone craft a paragraph that has multiple interesting sentences that flow and have rhythm and they read very nicely. So here's what we did in order to equip kids with the quality materials that they need to write well-crafted paragraphs and essays. We use this as sequential explicit writing instruction here. We have 4 units. Again, I'm going to break down all 4 of these units. I'm going to show you the sequence of our instruction, what we include. You are more than welcome to use your resources that you have or create your own and use this same step-by-step process to give your kids in your classroom the skills that they need to craft this. The very first unit, we're talking about sentence basics. Like, we're going from subject and predicate. If you teach 3rd grade, though, you will know that subject and predicate is not within your standards, but there are mentions of talking about the verb in a sentence or who the noun in the sentence. So although the language might be a little bit different, they're not referring to subject predicate, this unit is still for you. 3rd grade, I will let you know if you teach 3rd grade, as you move through these units are going to get increasingly more difficult. You will have students who are likely not ready for Unit 3 and Unit 4 in your class because that is just the diverse makeup of our classroom. That's not to say that you don't need Unit 3 and Unit 4, because you absolutely will have your writers who are just passionate writers who are going to need to know how to expand their sentences and grow their skills as well. So this really is, that's why we call it comprehensive. This is for everyone in your classroom. All right, Unit 2, we're talking about complete sentences. We are talking about run-ons and fragments because boy, oh boy, at the beginning of the year, they're all over the place, right? Sometimes you get a piece of paper and there's not one single punctuation mark and it's this long, right? Sometimes you have a bunch of fragments. So really getting down to basics. These don't have to take forever. I will let you know right now that when I'm going to show you the inside of these units, there are more resources within here than you could possibly use unless you're teaching writing for 3 hours a day. Don't let that overwhelm you though, because I have been on the receiving end and I've also been on the team that has handed teachers a curriculum and said, well, you need to teach all of this. And you go, well, I have 90 minutes to teach reading and writing in my classroom. This is absolutely not possible to teach all of this. These units are not that. You have more than enough resources to go through explicit teaching of these skills, giving students practice, having access to independent practice or small group practice, and then access to review and assessments. You do not need to use everything in here, but you have enough should you need it. Like if you need to revisit these in April, you have enough resources to do it. You're never going to be sold short on what's in here. You're never going to be longing for more. Unit 3, we get into combining sentences. So really amplifying our writing from the basics into more complex writing. This is where you're going to take kids to show kids and model for them. This is what good writing looks like. Unit 4 is expanding sentences. This is talking about adding appositives in there, using complex sentences. I really like this unit because this unit will surprise you that even writers who you aren't necessarily sure are capable of having these long expanded sentences that are really nuanced, they will surprise you with this unit too. Now, take a look at this. This is our planning doc. Everybody in this training right now is going to have access to this planning doc. This is a Google Sheets. It will force copy into your Google Drive. So your copy is yours. You can edit it. You can change it. You can create your own sheets on here. You can use this to plan out your instruction. I've created this for you. It is absolutely free. You will have it. I will give you the link at the end of this training for this guy right here. This is just sheet 1, which is a basic overview of all 4 of those units. The last thing down there is the comprehensive sentence writing. That's just the bundle. It just takes all 4 units and puts them together. That's all that is. Now, you have the unit objective here. So if you have to turn lesson plans into an administrator or send them to something, just copy and paste it off of this. Even if you're not using our units, copy and paste it. I did it all for you. Edit it, whatever you need to do. I love having things like this because I love having access to quick and easy. I'm all about working smarter, not harder. So in just a second, I'm going to go inside this Google Sheets to show you each individual unit, what's included in there, what activities are included in there, and then how long you can use this for, the teaching scope and sequence for when you can start and how long it's going to take to go through each of these units. So let's transfer over to Google Sheets. All right, we are officially inside the Google Sheet. You will have access to all of this, editable access. This is yours. So I have in here that this 4-unit plan each unit takes 1 week. So you can go through and do this in an entire month. Highly recommend starting your school year next year. I know right now it's January. If you're watching this in real time, you know it's January. If you're watching in the future, hello future people. Highly recommend starting with this at the beginning of the year and taking the first month of instruction for writing to go through the basics. So many of our reading and writing programs jump into writing essays almost immediately. That's like asking people to build a house with thumbtacks and staples instead of giving them quality materials. It's not going to turn out well. But if we give them quality materials, you might get a mansion out of it. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to sign up for the mansion, theoretically. All right. These objectives, like I said, you can click in here, you can copy and paste this, add this to your lesson plans. Again, we go sentence structure, then we talk about complete sentences, highlighting fragments and run-ons and fixing them to turn them into complete sentences, combining 2 sentences together, and step-by-step explicit ways that students can do that, like giving them the skills to be able to combine sentences, and then going into expanding sentences using adverbs and adjectives, prepositional phrases, subordinate clauses, appositives. Like we're really getting in depth here to creating sentences that sound authory. Because when you're doing a read aloud, like the kids are like, read more. You want them to start writing like those authors, and that's what that unit is about. So let's go into the next sheet. This is just about unit 1. You've got everything here. You've got your day-by-day instruction. You've got the standards here. And keep in mind, I update this sometimes. So if I do a different standards alignment, all you have to do is re-download a copy to your drive and you'll get the new copy totally for free. And I will make announcements via our email list or Instagram or something like if this gets updated. So You've got your standards alignment here. These are Common Core. If you need to transfer this to your state, like if you need a TEAC or Virginia Soul or something, throw it into Google. Just say like, what's the standard equivalent, or ask AI or something. That's what it's there for. Work smarter, not harder. The standard description, just because I don't know, I know some of the standards by memory, but I don't know all of them by memory. So I just put the short standard description so you can just do it at a glance and read that. And then the lesson overview. Every lesson overview has a goal at the end. So for this first one, it just says introduce basic elements of sentences with posters and direct instruction. Students will identify subjects and predicates and engage in a sorting activity. So that's a hands-on practice that they're using there. The goal, they're going to walk away today with the understanding of the basic structure of sentences. That's it. Do that. Even if you teach 5th grade or 6th grade, do that, because you'll be amazed that kids don't know what predicates are when they're 12. Do that. Don't skip that. For whole group, I broke down every resource that is inside that unit. I broke it down and told you what it was. If you don't buy the unit, don't worry. There's sentence structure posters. Look at the preview. Just go look at the preview. Go look at what the sentence structure posters look like. I have them behind me too, right here. Go look at that if you want to create your own. That's totally fine. You're going to introduce that using posters, like anchor charts, basically. You're going to introduce subjects and predicates as a whole group teacher. Like in whole group, you're going to talk about what that is. This is a subject. This is a predicate. We're going to identify it in this sentence. You're going to teach. I don't need to tell you how to teach. You're here because you're a good teacher. You're going to do that. Individual practice and scaffolding support. So if you're going into having the kids practice, this is low stakes. There are almost no stakes here. This is just practice. Don't take this for an assessment. You're going to have them identify subjects and predicates and then go over that. Meet back in whole group and go over that so kids get that feedback. For some reason, like 15 years ago, it was frowned upon to review work with students as a whole group. Do that. Review work with students because it makes such a difference. If they don't know what their errors are, how are they ever going to correct it? And I'm sorry we don't have time to individually fix errors in small group. I don't have that much instructional time. Do it whole group. Ask for forgiveness, not for permission, if you're not allowed to do that. For group and center work, there is a suggestion here that if you are moving into like literacy centers or something, you can use that last column in here for additional practice. Or you can save those resources for later on. Like if you need to do some sort of intervention later on in the year, save those resources. You can always do that again in small group with kids who need that support at that really basic sentence level. So there, it's a subjects and predicates sort. Again, you have access to it within the unit. You want to create one yourself? You want to do it on index cards? Go for it. That's totally fine. But this breaks down every resource, where you're going to use it, the individual practice, and then the group and center work that you have access to with the goals, with the standards, copy and paste. This is all done for you. So that's just sentence structure. Then you get into complete sentences, talking about those fragments, those run-ons, and complete sentences. That's all here for you too. Every unit is broken down for you. So you've got access to all of this. If you have any questions after looking through this, do not be hesitant to reach out to me. I will put my email on the screen here somewhere for you. I will just do that in just a moment. Let's see Unit 4 here. I'm going to switch on over to give you access to this. So the way that you're going to get access to this is through a bit.ly link. You're going to type that in. It is case sensitive. It's all lowercase. Just leave it lowercase. If you're watching this on your computer, but you have your phone in your hand, I will also have a QR code where you can just hold your phone up and then snap the QR code and add it to your Google Drive from your phone. Also, if you have a phone, I did not know this, you can screenshot a QR code, go to your photos, and then hold your finger on it, and it will open up the link for you that way. Because sometimes I watch these trainings and I'm like, why did you put a QR code on the screen? I'm watching it on my phone. Screenshot, tap. That will help you open it. First, let's get you my email, and then I will get you the bit.ly link. All right, I added this slide in here for you, so excuse me, I'm in edit mode. Again, my name is Erica. I'm the Director of Education and Strategy for the Teacher Next Door team. My email, direct access to me, is contact@the-teacher-next-door.com. It's just like knocking on my door. If I talk next door to you, ask me a question, send me an email. I'm happy to answer them for you. Now, for the link. All right, again, bit.ly link up here at the top, type that in, it's case sensitive. bit.ly/sentence planning will create a force copy link. What that's gonna do is it's gonna say, do you want a copy of this in your Google Drive? You're gonna hit copy, yes. You have to be logged into your Gmail to access that. You should be able to view it. If you don't use Google at school, use your personal Gmail address, and then just keep it in your personal access there. If you want a hard copy version of that, you're going to have to email me. I don't have a hard copy available to you, but I can download it and pull it down as a PDF for you and email that to you. So shoot me an email if you want a hard copy for it. You obviously won't be able to edit it, but I can get that over to you. And again, QR code right there. We are the Teacher Next Door. You can find us on TPT. We've got some of the top writing resources for upper elementary used all the way through high school. We've got explicit writing instruction done for you. Send me any questions that you may have, but you have access to our entire sentence planning unit, our comprehensive sentence writing planning program, and hopefully you use it. Oh, by the way, I want to mention before we leave today, it is January. I said to start the school year with this. You can't restart writing right now, right? But I guarantee you, because most of us are benchmarking right now with MAP testing or STAR or whatever you're taking, you're probably getting into data matings where you're going to need to up some skills before the end of the year for some kids. Your struggling writers need these sentence units now because they didn't get them in the primary grades when they were younger. You can use these resources as intervention. Now, personally, I've taught classes where my whole class could have used this in January. And I would have stopped my essay writing at that moment in time and gone through and done like a super light version of going through all of this to review these, to really create those sentences that are going to build better paragraphs and better essays moving on. And then I've had other years where I've had just a handful of kids who could have used this, and I've done that either in intervention time or small group time. So you can use this as intervention, whole class, or for small group right now. Highly recommend starting your year off. Look at your scope and sequence and see where you can fit in this sentence unit and what you can move around. Don't start the year with writing an essay. You're only going to drive yourself crazy reading all of these pages with no punctuation and really staccato sentences that are really short and sound robotic. Start with this sentence unit. Try it out. Give it a test drive in January now so that when 2025-2026 school year comes around, you are ready to go. All right. Again, I'm Erica from the Teacher Next Door team, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care.